I
Now we're
am
being
digging the
recorded.
look, Leslie. I
Yeah,
am digging this.
this is
That
my open house look.
that is memorable. If you want to be a pattern interrupter and not be forgotten, you just did it. And I love that you have 49ers red on. Mwah, thank you.
Oh yeah, red and gold. Shit, I better go change that.
Oh
to
my
blue.
God, I love it.
It's so funny. I didn't think about this being the 49ers, but when I wear blue and silver, I constantly think of Dallas Cowboys.
It's funny because I just realized I was wearing blue and gray today when I was out and about. Oh my gosh, all right, we're even. I got your back, you got mine.
I'm gonna go put a blue shirt on now instead.
Oh, I should have let it ride. Oh, I got a little
really
too arrogant.
Sweater.
I got a little too arrogant on that one. Aye.
Go ahead. Laugh it up while you can.
Oh, I'm gonna love it up while I can. In fact, I'm taking a screenshot, so now I guess it's recording. But when the Niners win this
Better
Sunday,
not post this on social media.
when the Niners win this Sunday, I'm gonna thank you for the juju.
Yeah, they're going
Amazing.
down. The Niners and their fair weather fans are going down.
Fair weather
I
fans.
just say that. Wait a minute.
Fair weather fans. How is
Did I
that?
say that out loud?
I can get it if you say it like for the Warriors or something because they weren't good for so long. But come on, the Niners, no fair weather.
Come on, all right.
I would
Well,
never call Cowboys fair weather fans. They've been around and doing yeah, I give credit to that. They're strong fans. But it's okay. You can call me what you want to make yourself feel better in your red and gold.
I'm not
No
a
worries.
huge fan of Jerry Jones and Jerry World, but other than that, he's, whatever.
Where's the link?
Okay.
Oh, where's the link? The story of my life.
I
Where
know,
is the
I
link?
know.
I even hear it in the background. Aye. Did I not? Let me make sure Jeff is part of the email list because I know Jeff's not always.
How'd you know it was me, Patrick?
Oh man, I can recognize that beautiful
how'd you know
face
it
in
was
every
me?
country, no
Hold
matter
on,
where
let
I
me
am in the
fix my
world.
video. There he is. Okay, do that again.
That was me.
Groundhog Day.
He's like the neighbor over the fence. What's his name?
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
miss you, man. Miss you, man. Hope
Pop
all
goes
is
the
well.
weasel back here.
Pop.
Suzanne, this is my open house look.
I love it. Come on.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
So cute.
All right, let me make sure I
Turn
got.
down your volume.
Let me see. Oh, Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter should have received the email too with the links. I sent those out
He's
yesterday.
here. Look, he's here now. He showed up.
I know. Good. Good to see you, man. We need some more males in this group. Thank you for joining. I was going to be outnumbered quickly. Hello, Christine. Hello, Alita. Hello, Gina Marie. Jeff. Hello, Suzanne. And hello, our newest Niner fan, Leslie.
I see Patrick. I see
Right now.
I know. We're dating ourselves here.
I'll be back.
I think all of us except for Patrick know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I just like laughing with y'all. So whatever you say, I'm gonna kind of smile along and laugh along. We lost. Alita jumped out for a second, and then.
Hey, is Monica in town?
Yeah, she got, but I haven't seen her yet. She got in at like 5 a.m. or something. I hit her up for lunch. I think she was still sleeping it off. So I'm sure we'll get up for dinner after our leadership meeting tonight. Because that's
dancing.
Yeah, we're not dancing tonight. I got work tomorrow. Dancing waits till Friday night. I got strict rules over here sometimes.
All right.
Most of the time. But yeah, we'll go have some fun this weekend for sure. But she did make it. She had some crazy trip to get in here, and she did make it, which was good, obviously. We'll give it a couple minutes since we got a couple people popping in and out. Feel free if anybody wants to chat about, if they have specific questions about open houses or anything. Also, this is going to be a very open forum. Suzanne's going to kind of lead it. Jeff's going to probably pop in. I think Jeff's gonna have some old school stuff for us to go with, and the old school stuff
The
works with
peanut
open houses.
gallery always has comments, so we'll get some.
My God, I love the little.
So I think out of the group, we've got Leslie has done a couple, right, Leslie? Christine, you don't have any experience doing an open house. You've probably been to some though. Yeah, okay. I didn't know.
Okay,
I
cool.
think I'm pretty sure Alita's done some. So
I have done one very poorly, but I did one.
that's okay. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's where you start.
None of them are poor. You always learn a little bit about something each time
Yeah.
you do them.
Trust me, I started. Oh, go ahead, Suzanne.
No, continue.
No, I was just saying, I started out doing open houses and cold calls, and I was terrible at all of it in the beginning. I used to get leads from open houses and write them like a freaking essay about my life and this, and like, I did like probably 30 open houses. No, maybe not that many, like at least 15 before I actually got a client. But yeah, it's all part of the process. I kept sticking with it. Same with cold calling, and then ended up getting a lot of business out of it. When I started, and we didn't have flex leads and things like that, so kind of had to just grind. So
Yep.
yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Just because we did one bad one, that just means you have tons of opportunities to do many better ones.
Yep. Oh, hold on. Let me grab something off the printer. I printed for the class.
Cool.
Are you gonna share it on your screen?
Leslie,
my assistant is slacking back here. He normally gets up and gets my things, but you know.
What?
He was too busy finding links.
Your sister was showing properties more, right?
Leslie, I have a question. What made you think yours
Yes.
was bad?
Well, because I felt like I was behind the 8 ball the whole time, and I didn't print out everything I probably should have printed out. I'm like, we'll just go green, and that just, didn't work. And I only have the one sign right now that says for sale. So I borrowed a couple from Cassie. So I know I need to get that. And then I didn't get it up on time for a broker's tour, which it wasn't very, didn't really matter. But I don't know. I just
you got it posted though as an open house on the MLS? Like, because in y'all's MLS, you post it by a certain day, and then it's up there for the weekend or whatnot. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did get that, and I just felt like people were, I don't know, just walking away with. I probably should have printed up more professional handouts than just the photocopies of whatever it was that I had, which I don't even remember. But I just thought it was like kind of poorly done compared to some of the other ones I've been to, where it's like champagne and freaking chocolate and whatever else.
Yeah, you could go.
So it wasn't your listing, Leslie. You were holding open someone else's.
Oh
listing?
no, it was my listing, and it was like within the first month of being an agent, and
Oh, well,
I'm
that's
thinking,
why.
oh yeah, I got this. People will. I mean, I sold the house in 15 days, so that was good. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything though. You do it the first time, and then you just point it out. Like you're observant, you're aware of what could have been different, better, how to improve, and then also like you just said, what other people do. You don't always have to go the highest level. I mean, I got pretty good at them, but I was doing them a lot. So I had my own signs with my own logo and like a ton of them. I'd put out at least 10 signs with balloon, put them out like a few nights before. I would put some signs on the major corners, and then put one sign in front of the house next to this for sale sign. And we also had riders. So it'd say like Saturday 1 to 3 p.m., Sunday 1 to 3 p.m. And that like drum up some interest in the, before. And then I put out more signs the day of, and balloons, which was a fiasco, just driving around freaking balloons. That one, I recommend getting some clips or something if you're going to do that. Cause I was always running a little late to doing showings, and then trying to tie these balloons, and they're blowing all over the place. And then I'm like hot and sweaty when I get there. So yeah, it was, but yeah, I mean, it was, my first ones were garbage, and I just learned from that, and then learned what other people did, and I definitely don't recommend like you always have, like do champagne and wine, all that. I did that for a couple high dollar listings where we wanted to also please the sellers where they were a little worried. So we wanted to kind of show a little extra effort, but yeah, it's all about kind of finding where your comfort is and what works for you. But I'm going to let Suzanne kind of roll with some things because she's got some stuff lined up.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm
unless
jotting a
Pop Goes the
couple
Weasel
ideas
wants to
down.
pop in.
Well, he probably has his own tips and tricks. I'm just going to talk about kind of how I have historically been doing them and things I've been taught through all the years I've been licensed. Different brokerages, different ideas and tips and tricks from people that I look up to and admire, who are, you know, successful. And maybe I'm not as, you know, doing the volume they are, but I can still provide, you know, a quality open house. And you kind of are doing open houses to appease your sellers in today's day and age, because everything is all on media marketing and digital, you know, everything's available on the internet. So you want to capture some leads. Hopefully you can sell your own listing. It does happen. Sometimes it happens more often than not, but typically you'll be holding the house open to kind of capture people's emails and people that are interested in either this house or a like property. A lot of times you'll get neighbors come through. A lot of people are nosy and they just want to kind of see how it compares to their house, or, you know. Okay, so first what I usually do is when I know if it's my own house, I already have run comps and I kind of know why it's priced what it's priced at. But if you're holding an open house for someone else, you can hold homes open, listings open for anybody in your own brokerage really easily. If they have a listing that they want held open, they give you permission, you can go and hold it open. So if it's not my own listing, what I usually do is I will print out some comps and I will bring them with me. I don't give them out to everybody, but if I have a really in-depth conversation with someone that seems like they're seriously interested, I will, you know, provide those to them if I get their information. That way I can then follow up with them later. Then what I usually do is I print out the flyer. And if it's your own listing, you obviously already have your social, your media and your videos and your photos and all that. But if it's another person's listing, if you get their permission to use their photos, you can kind of print your own, you know, flyer and put your own picture and your own information on here. You can steal all their information either from the MLS or from their own flyer, slap the photos in here, and then you can put these in the house in the flyer stands that come from like your favorite title rep. And they I was going to show this box actually. Let me back up. So your favorite title rep can provide you with an open house box. It's got booties, it's got the flyer stand in there, usually some pens and some wipes for, you know, handy wipes for the counters or for your hands. You can, a lot of them will also give you a little, like a squeeze bottle of hand sanitizer. They'll also give you some little riders like this that say open house on it, tells you the benefits of, you know, whether it's a home warranty company or your title rep, you know, gives them information about that. And you can put date and time on here. You can walk the neighborhood maybe an hour before or a couple hours before you are actually holding this property open, and invite the neighbors to come. And you can kind of put it like, hey, come and check it out, because you know they're going to anyway. But you might have the option to choose your neighbor. Do you know somebody that might want to live in this neighborhood or might want to live over here near you? Or do you have family or friends that might be interested in something like this? Come check it out for them. You know, this is your opportunity to choose your neighbor. You know, you can help us sell this property to someone that you know. Invite the neighbors to come because they're going to come anyway. And also in this box will be, sometimes they'll give you like an open house feedback form. So you can get their information, also the level of interest, what they, how long do you plan on purchasing a home? Do you have a home to sell first? All this stuff. And then a lot of times you'll also have a guest registry, which you can ask them to please sign. And I'll get to that again later. And that helps you capture their information so that you can enter them into your own database if they are seriously interested in looking, and then continue to, you know, touch that lead down the line. Okay, so print comps, you print your flyers, signs. Now signs you're gonna need to put on visible corners. I usually put one in the middle of the driveway that points in the driveway because I don't want random people parking in my seller's driveway. I want to keep them on the street. I also want to keep the driveway free for my own personal safety. If something weird happens, I want to be able to get out of the house quick, and I don't want a bunch of cars like there blocking my exit. So I usually put the open house sign like kind of in the street in front of the driveway so that anybody that drives by either direction can see that there's an open house here, and then they pull over and kind of come in. I usually park my own car out on the street, pointed away for easy exit, just in case some strange thing should happen. I can easily get in my car and go. I don't want it pointed in towards the property in the driveway, so I have to back out if somebody's, trying to rob me or something. I want to be able to get out quickly. So make sure your signs are on visible corners. Each city has rules and regulations regarding where you can put your open house signs, how long you can put them there. You can't have them like blocking handicap corners, like those ramped corners. They can't be blocking pedestrian paths. They also can't be on people's personal property. Sometimes if you put them on an island in like it's grassy or something, the city will round up, the community service officer will take them, and they'll take them to the police station. You have to go pay to get them out. It's like impound. It's funny. So make sure you know what the rules are for your city and what that looks like before you go. I usually try to go and set up the property first. I go meet my sellers. I tell them, I make sure, I remind them, you put all your valuables away, you took all your medications, you lock those up, your guns and your knives and your jewelry, all that stuff's put away, right? All your valuables. You never know. Because people will rifle through cabinets. People do some strange things, and they will take your seller's Vicodin and their, medications, and they will steal things. So make sure you remind your sellers for, your open house, you stashed all your stuff, right? And then if there's any like pets that need to be dealt with, I make sure that I have a sign. Sometimes it will say, don't access the garage. There's a dog in here, or, off limits or something like that. I make my own. I always have them in my box in my car because it just, you kind of know going into it, but sometimes if you're holding someone else's listing open, you won't know. And at least you have a sign you can slap on the door real quick. You can lock it and keep them out of there. Plenty of times I've had open houses where I've held where there's like a cat in a carrier out in the garage, or they have taken all of their possessions and shoved them out there, and that's where everything is, and you can't even really walk. You can't really see the garage anyway. Or that's where they put their dog so that no one's bothered by it for the open house or something. So it happens. I turn on all the lights. I make sure that everything looks really pretty. If there's stuff that I feel like shouldn't be sitting out, or it's a little like unkempt looking or maybe dirtier than I'd like, I kind of clean up real quick. I turn on all the lights. I lock the door. Then I go put my signs out because they will follow you to your open house. And if you don't have the house set up first, then you're asking them to, oh, can you wait outside? Give me like 5 minutes. I gotta go set everything up and turn on the music and turn on the lights and put my cookies in the oven. And it's weird and awkward and uncomfortable. So I tend to do all that first. I lock the door, go set up my signs, park my car, bring my purse in. I usually find like a cabinet that I stuff it in, or I just leave it in my car. If I can help it, I'll leave it out there. I have my computer with me. My phone is always in my hand, and I'm always standing in the front room where I can see out the front doors or windows or something, so that I am prepared and I can see who's coming in before they access the front door. I usually have a open house registry in like the kitchen island with my flyers, and I tell them that my seller has requested that anybody that comes through the property, please sign in on the registry. I make it kind of like it's not I'm asking you, it's them, they for their records and their personal safety, they've asked that anybody please come in and sign in. If they're interested, they have no problem doing that. A lot of times people will put phony info just because they've had this request 100 times, and they kind of know the drill. They know you're going to contact them, and you can try and get their information, but I don't know, it's kind of a 50-50. At least you try. Make sure that you're always aware of who is in the house, how many people are in the house, and where they're at. So don't be on the phone. Don't look at Instagram. Don't look at social media. Just pay attention to who's in the house. Try and have conversation. I typically like meet and greet them and I say, welcome to the property, you know, come on in. How are you today? You know, you kind of small talk, but then I'll ask them, are you looking to purchase or are you just looking to look? That kind of cues me how they answer that question, how much I'm going to badger them while they're in my open house, or if I'm just going to kind of back off and let them, you know, browse around. If they say, oh yeah, I'm a neighbor down the street, then I know I'm not going to, you know, talk to them too much until they're like maybe asking me questions or exiting the property, and then I'll kind of get some more information from them. But I feel like people kind of like to talk. You can sort of tell, even if they're speaking a language that you are not familiar with, you can sort of tell from their inflections and their tone whether they're like kind of don't like it or if they like it. And then I usually will direct them if there's something like, if it has an amazing backyard, oh, please feel free, go outside. You know, if it's raining or something, there's booties back there, but if you don't mind, please put those on. Take them off before you exit and put them back on when you come in. Go see the pool, go sit out, you know, go check out the side yard. There's plenty of room for an RV, something like, it kind of want to get them to look around at the main features of the property that make this house special. And then when they have had a second to kind of look around, I'll ask them more questions. Is this something that you know, are interested in? Do you know anybody that might be, you know, do you have any questions? You know, all that kind of stuff, that kind of typical stuff. One thing that you have to really kind of be aware of in today's day and age is almost everybody has cameras. Typically, always out on the front porch. So be careful what you say. Be careful how you behave, because almost always you're being watched somehow, some way. Some people have them indoors and outside. You can kind of, your sellers will watch the footage and they may or may not like so-and-so's offer because of what they said about my, you know, paint color outside on the front porch, or, you know, so just be aware there's always cameras in today's day and age. Almost everybody has them, especially outside, sometimes indoors and in the backyard as well. So just be aware of how you are presenting yourself and how you're answering things, and what, you know, just be careful. I usually stay for, like, depending on how busy it is. If you schedule your open house like on a Sunday, be conscious of typical church service times. If you are there between like noon and 3, you may be super busy and then all of a sudden it's totally dead. And then at 3 o'clock you have 100 people come. And or you could, you know, schedule it whenever throughout the day you want, but just be conscious of that, because you will have like waves of people and then sometimes it'll be dead for a little while and then you get a whole bunch more. And if you have a really busy open house and you feel like staying longer, you can do that or not. Let's see what else. Oh, I also typically, when I make my flyer, I make a PDF of it and I'll advertise on my Facebook, my Instagram, any of your social media platforms. If you're a Snapchatter or whatever else, you know, you can advertise, come and, you know, come stop by my open house today. If you know anybody that maybe is interested in something like this, come visit me. Just be careful though, because sometimes you have weirdos that will kind of see that as an opportunity to come bug you if they're, I don't know. You just, you almost can't not advertise your open house because you want bodies in there. And the whole point is to get this property sold and get as many eyes on it as you can and get people in the space to kind of feel property. But just be careful what you say and how you advertise it. But it's nice to show the sellers that, look, I have it everywhere. You know, if it's slow, it's not me. It just is like, I think, you know, it's just whatever. It's raining or it's a holidays. I have not done open houses on holidays thinking that nobody will show up. It's Father's Day or it's Super Bowl weekend. And those sometimes are the best. Those are the best days to do
Yeah,
them, because
I had
a
some
lot
of my
of
best.
people are home-ish and they're, you know, wanting to come stop in as they're on their way to the barbecue or however. So sometimes holidays are the best.
Yeah,
What
and
was
you
that,
get a lot
Patrick?
of like out of towners, so relocators
Mhm.
that don't already have agents, holidays
Yep.
were really successful for me, and I had the same thought, and then I started doing them, and I kill it on like Christmas
Yeah.
week, Thanksgiving week, because people from out of town come to visit their family, especially if
Yep.
it's a desirable area. They're thinking about moving, so they check some houses out, and then you have less competition because they're just there for a weekend. It's not like they've been hitting open houses for months and doing this, playing this game. So I typically,
Yep.
I had really good results with those.
Yeah, especially if the property, you know, out this way with almost everybody has a swimming pool or some fancy setup in the backyard. Is this warm out here? And it's really nice to kind of like highlight that, you know, have the pool turn on, the fountain or the fire pit or whatever, and you know, kind of set up things to look staged almost if you can. I sometimes have like snacks, and I usually almost always have water. I'll get like a box of Costco cookies or something, or granola bars or something like that. I don't always go all out, but sometimes I do. It just depends on the property and, you know, how much I want to come out of pocket for stuff like that. But it does make the house smell really great when you have cookies in the oven. And the worst thing is to come into a property and kind of smell like dogs or cats or like, I don't know, old people. Yeah, I don't know. He that's a joke from the other day. So when it smells like cookies, warm, fresh baked cookies, people kind of feel yummy and cozy and they tend to want to hang out. Hold on.
Go ahead, I gotta keep.
Oh, Rich. Is he in the conference room? He's probably in the conference room. That's where he meets. I'm sorry. Forgot what I was saying. So
Just the
cookies in
smell
the
thing.
oven.
Yeah. That's what,
Sometimes
because I
I'll
was
bring
gonna
like
ask
a
that.
really strong candle that smells like lemon or a cookie or coffee or something nice, because it tends to kind of make people feel nice in that space, and it you know,
Make a phone call.
all these little subliminal things kind of are good sales things. So
Absolutely.
and then after my open house, I tend to go, I'll lock the door, I'll go grab my signs, then I come back and then I shut all the lights off and I turn things off and I put things away and I put the house back to normal. Because if you're locking up your house before you pick up your signs, I often find that like the house is dark and, you know, everything's turned off and all of a sudden you got 3 people on the porch that want to come in, and it's a little like clunky and weird then also. So
Nice.
I typically will like lock the door, run out, grab my signs in my car, throw them in my trunk. I come back and then I, you know, lock up the property. And then
Very cool.
afterwards, usually like the next day or a couple days later, I will try and contact the people that I was able to collect data, you know, phone numbers or emails on. I'll send them, you know, a little recheck. Hey, just want to check in with you. I met you yesterday at the open house. I want to see, you know, if you had any thoughts or what you know, are you interested in the property? Do you know anybody that might be what is this average, what here?
Yeah, I could kind of take on that too. Yeah, it's just reaching out, trying to kind of see, not only you have a good little excuse to reach out. It's not just straight sales right off the bat. Trying to get some follow up for our sellers. Wanted to just see your thoughts on it. Blah blah blah. What, you know, how does it compare to what else you guys have maybe seen, and then lead into that with like conversion. Awesome. Well, have you guys? These are questions I usually ask when I meet them, anyways. Just, hey, how long have you guys been looking? Was that, you know, were you guys just touring out open houses a lot, or just something interested you on this one? And you're just trying to get a little more information from them. Awesome. Or is there anything else I could help you with? Blah blah blah.
If this property isn't available, can I send you some other ones that are similar, or, you know, something kind of like that?
So I wanted to chime in on that. So I always do an open house with a list of comparables that are available in the area. And then I'm trying to really get, my real goal is to get that person to set an appointment with me for after the open house so I can show them more. So I'll even show them like, hey, here's some other open houses. Like I used to not do that because I'm like, oh, I'm kind of sending them on my competition. But now I'm just like, I make it easy for them. Like here, my goal is like, these are out there. They're open. So I'll give them, I'll sometimes even draw a little map. Like I place the properties on the map that are available, that are open that day. Be like, hey, here's some other open houses for you to go see if you'd like. Also, here's a list of properties they aren't open, but they're available. And I'm available as well this evening if you'd like to go check them out. Something like that to try to get that second meet is one of the tactics I was using a lot towards the end as I got a little better.
Just text him.
And go ahead, Suzanne. I'll let you continue and then I'll jump in.
I think I was, sorry, we've got like, somebody is trying to meet with Rich, who used to be in the space behind us, which is now us, and he doesn't, we don't know where he's at.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I think I probably have talked about everything I wanted to.
What's up,
I have
Christine?
a question.
Yeah.
Do we have, and I should have checked the toolbox before I asked this question, but do we have sort of an outline of best practices that's in writing to refer to?
Probably not, but we can from this meeting. Do we have one? Do we have one, Suzanne?
We are
I don't know.
working on those. I have a listing. Now what? I have a buyer. Now what? I have an open
Okay,
house.
cool.
Now what? We're working on putting those together. You probably throw
This one should be
some
pretty
things
easy since you
together.
just nailed out a whole thing
Yeah,
of them,
you
and
should
I could.
probably, Christine, if you're gonna do an open house, shadow somebody and do a couple with someone else that's a little bit, has done them. Someone a little bit, you know, seasoned that way, that can kind of show you the ropes and how to, you know, the secret to talking with people is a little, you feel like you know what to do, and then they're coming in and it's like a little bit awkward, and I just kind of feel like their energy, if they're not making eye contact and they're kind of like, you know, when you go, when you stop by a car lot and you just want to look at something, you don't want to be bothered, and they're coming in, they're swarming you. I just sort of feel like I don't want to do that to them. I don't want them to feel weird or uncomfortable. I want them to, you know, hi, come in, welcome, come on in, take a look around, please sign in. And then after that, if you could, you know, just feel free to walk around, look around the property. Let me know if you have any questions. And I kind of just let them, but I'm always where they're at, what they're doing. Like, and then, you know, if you have multiple sets of people come in, I'm always aware of where they are and what they're doing. If they're in the bathroom a little too long or in the master bedroom a little too long, I usually don't follow them upstairs or into the rooms, unless I feel like they've been gone a little while. What's up? And then I'll kind of check in. Everything okay? You know, and sometimes they just want to hide in the back and talk about it without you listening to their thoughts, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'll chime in on that too. Like I often, like, if I have a bunch of people in the house, I just kind of do my little circles around the house just so they know that I could pop up any minute. It's not like they just don't feel like they're totally on their own, but I'm not like hovering over them and, you know, trying to brush them. I'm just kind of like doing my pace. I just like, hey, you guys all good? Any questions? Great bathroom, right? Blah, blah, blah. Any thoughts on that tile? Blah, blah, blah. And I don't care what they really think, truly. I'm just trying to let them know. I mean, a bit I do, but it's not really, my goal is just to let them know I'm there and I'm not just passively letting them rummage through things. And then what was wanted to kind of, yeah, chime in on a couple other things. Oh, one question. Do you know where they can find out the rules and regulations of each city for the signage? Where
Probably
would one
just
go? Google it?
I would
Okay.
just Google it. You know, rules for
Realtor
open house.
sign
I think Oakley is a
regulations.
little bit different than Brentwood. I know that, and sometimes they're like collecting them like crazy for a certain period of time when they have not much to do, and then they won't. I
Okay,
usually
but just
try
Google
and
it for that. Cool.
like sometimes in my neighborhood, I'd put them on, you know, the grass at the Chevron on the corner with some balloons or something to try to attract attention. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then what was I going to say? So yeah, a couple. And then what I was also going to say with the whole, there's a lot of people. Like if you're holding an open house, that is, you know, it's super well priced, desirable area. You're getting a lot of showing requests, offers, etc. You're going to be high traffic. I'd always recommend to double up. Do it with somebody else. Have another agent there to support you. That means they can also walk through the house with people, help you keep an eye on things. And then also, if you double up with an agent, they can be ready to go show them other properties. If they're only out for that couple hours and they want to, like, you have that list of other homes that are available in the neighborhood that aren't open, then that agent can really just like boom, and you guys can kind of double up on things. So that's kind of a trick too, with as far as dealing with heavy traffic. And then wanted to start
on that, you can often get a lender to come and host an open house with you, and the lender will print their own marketing media out. A lot of times it'll be flyers, like here's what the interest rates are. And if you were to buy this house today, at this price here, you know, here's what your taxes are going to be, and here's what your payment might be. And, you know, then they're trying to collect info too, and they're trying to get clients as well. And that way you have a partner to hold the open house with, you have somebody to talk to and discuss things with. And, you know, you can sort of tag team your clientele as they come in the door as well. So that way you're not by yourself. You have a partner and someone else to help answer questions and talk about interest rates and, you know, things like that, tax bases in that area or whatever you might need.
Great. Yeah, great call on that. Very great call. And then a couple other tricks I had. Well, one, to circle back to, if you are going to get a lot of neighbors, like Suzanne said, but for me, I love that because like I used to get a ton of listings out of my open houses because I did them really well. We also staged our properties. We took a lot of expireds that didn't sell, and then we took it, staged it, did professional photography, and then got multiple offers. So like neighbors would come in and I would just pitch it. Like, here we are, like we're already getting offers on this. I obviously I'm not lying, but there's a lot of things you could do with the neighbors. Like I would offer them, okay, great. Hey, I'd love to, like, if you want us to keep you abreast at like how the sale goes, so you know what's going on in your neighborhood, I can let you know as we, you know, where things are headed. But also you can offer them market reports or market snapshots, which both are free and included in Chime. So it's like awesome. Like they're obviously interested in what's going on in their neighborhood. So you'd be like, hey, you could even offer to send them open house lists. Like I want to do that forever, but like, you don't want to create too much of a job for yourself. But the neighbors, even though they're like looky-loos and not your like super hot business, they could be a big part of your downline. And then you could like, that's where you start kind of like dominating a little area, a little farm. There is kind of opportunities in a lot of these, even though they might not be the person who's going to buy it and or buy a house with you immediately. I got a lot of listings out of my open houses from the neighbors. Because I used to just disregard them. Like, it's a neighbor, they're their neighbor, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, wow, these people are going to eventually sell, or they know a lot of people buying into the neighborhood and their neighbors selling, etc. So a lot of opportunities there with the neighbors coming through.
And in a hot market, you can even approach those neighbors and say, hey, listen, we got multiple offers on my listing, and obviously we can only have one buyer buy it. But if you're thinking of moving soon, I might be able to, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, if you or any of your neighbors.
6 offers and they were so competitive, but they didn't get this house, but they're looking for another one. Are you interested in moving in anytime soon? You know.
Yeah. Are you or any of your anybody you know in the neighborhood interested? And that just kind of builds on that. Yeah, great call on that. Really good call. And then a couple tricks that I'll share, like, or whatever, ways to promote their contact, or promote them to get you their contact information. First off, Chime has an open house form, digital. So it's pretty it's super easy to set up. One of the easier things in Chime to actually set up, which you do need an iPad or a laptop to actually use it, but they look super clean. I might even just share my screen and show you what that looks like. They look really, really, in here in campaigns, and don't worry about remembering this. I can like show you guys later, but there's over on the left side at the very bottom, you'll see open house forms, and literally you just add a new one. This is what it's going to like look like when they come into the open house. It will just show a little preview, just one photo of the property, and then the scan. You don't have to do it this way. You can also do it this way, where they either scan it and it grabs their information, or they fill in their name. I mean, there's red, so they have to do this. Phone number. You can make these optional or mandatory. Are you working with an agent? Do you have a house sale first? How many months? Boom. Real simple, easy, not overwhelming, but it captures their information and immediately goes into your Chime. Immediately. So it adds itself automatically into your Chime. You don't have to go manually doing anything. So the QR code option or the form, both are available in Chime. And then like before I had those available, I used to do a lot of little, and this isn't like revolutionary, but they worked, like $50 raffle. If I had a pretty heavy open house, I'd be like, all right, at the end, we're doing and I'd have the little Starbucks card or whatever, cool little gift card or something it's probably cooler if it's something local, like if there's some pumpkin patch event or a Halloween, like some holiday thing going on or whatever. I think like strawberry stuff out there, right? Isn't strawberry picking pretty, I don't know, whatever you could do that makes it a little kind of cool. And then it's like, it's there, boom, raffle at the end of the open house, just write your name, phone number, and email, we'll draw, and somebody's going to win. So boom, that's another
And
way
it'd
to get their
probably be
contact information.
more prone to give you their information if you had something like that they could win.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, if you're starting out struggling and you know might want to put $50 towards getting your own little nice open house signs and stuff, but yeah, it's another way to kind of just entice them to give you their info, and then you have the opportunity to put your sales, put your follow-up and your game to work, to convert them down the line. So those were the main things that I would do. And then I was asking for Suzanne, are you always using music and always baking cookies? I think the cookies you said sometimes
Almost
candles.
always.
Cool.
Almost always.
Yeah. I think
Kind of depends on the season. Sometimes if it's like strawberry, because Brentwood is like farm town, right? It's corn and strawberries and all these things. So if I can, I tend to go out, like it's the middle of summer and it's 115 out. I'll go get strawberries and I'll clean them and I'll make like a little, I don't know, with toothpicks on them or something, they can taste them, and I'll try to promote some local business or something like that. Almost always I'm doing cookies. Just depends on the house though. I really sort of decide that based on like the cleanliness of the kitchen or the oven, or sometimes I'll just bring like a packaged thing and I'll do that and I'll just burn a little candle. But
nice. Very cool.
Always something. And then Jeff had a good idea yesterday. I just thought of it again. He's
I
always
was hoping Jeff would chime in here.
I know, he's like all of a sudden all quiet back here.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
The tape measure. He says we should always have a tape measure with us, and he's right, because oftentimes you'll have people come in, I don't know if my couch will fit in here, and it's like it's really big. You can oh, here I have a tape measure, let's whip it out and measure. Or I don't know if my trailer will fit on the side yard, it's 16 feet wide, or you might not know how big the lot lines are. So you could just kind of quickly like, oh, here, go measure real quick, and give them. You always have these little tools with you that always come in handy somehow, some way.
I'm gonna give my
cool.
2 cents. I'll give you my 2 cents. Because you asked, and not to be a jerk. I think that for any new agent, should be holding an open house every weekend. It's free. People are coming to you, and you get a chance to get that activity of handing cards, how you doing, meeting people, working on your craft, how to do that. It's
100%.
fantastic. When I was new, I held an open house every weekend, anybody's, whenever I could, just to get my card out there. Nobody knew who I was. So I did everything I could to do that. And it's free. And people are walking to you. You're not doing anything else. The open house wise and signs, she's talking about is 100% correct. But if I'm putting signs in somebody's yard, which I tend to want to do because I'm going to knock on their door first. Hey, I'm holding an open house down the street. You mind if I put my sign in the yard? Usually they say, yeah, no problem. Take that address down, write it down, and now send them a thank you card, and they are now in my database. I add them in my database.
Boom.
Every time. So it's just I'm doing little stuff like that.
I love that.
For me, holding an open house, granted, depending on, I hate to say it, the mood I'm in or what's happening, the objective for me in holding an open house is not to just get people in there, but it's also to try to get at least 5 names on that login sheet. And out of those 5 names, I want to try to get 2 appointments and hopefully 1 deal out of it. So my 90% of it is to get a deal out of it. I'm not wasting my Saturday or Sunday for 3 hours just to go, how you doing? Come on in. And, it's just a bedroom over there. I've got to get something out of it, or if it's a waste of time, right? That's the ultimate goal for me, is to get 5 names, hopefully 2 appointments, and get some kind of buy or sale out of it, a listing out of it, without a doubt. If I'm not doing that, then I'm wasting my Saturday or Sunday to just stand and go, hi, come in. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 250, square feet. It's $7.99. Thank you. That you're doing nothing. I do that sign-in sheet every time as well. Like Suzanne said, I think it's a must because you know your people are going to be, well, how many people came? They want to know that stuff. Write it down. And then number 2, it's a benefit for you. Do you now have their information? So add your database, keep in contact. Most of those open house people are, like you said, probably looking. But I've also found I've been caught a couple of times holding an open house and people are coming in to look at the house, but also the agent. Maybe they are thinking about selling. And if you're just standing there sitting on a couch or something and you come in, they might be looking to interview you to sell their home. So if you're just kind of hanging out, see ya. And I've been caught a couple times. So learn the hard way of someone telling me, well, I talked to Jeff, but I went, and it happens from that day forward. That's the last time I'll sit down in a chair. Like you said, learn from mistakes you make. This is what it is.
What else?
You told them about. So when she's talking about a tape measure, I have a box in my car that I keep paper towels, some kind of cleaning solution in there, gloves, booties. I can't tell you over the years how many open houses I've gone to, and the people, yeah, we're ready and we're leaving, and take off, and it's a shithole. And now you got to go, what? So now you're cleaning and doing. I'm not going to stand in an open house. I know I shouldn't be cleaning their home, but I'm also trying to sell it, and it makes me look bad. If I have to pull the rags out and all of that, then I'm going to do it.
I've done.
Yeah, I mean, you hold enough, you're going to end up. Some person's clean is another man's garbage, right? So you don't know what you're walking into. Come prepared. And when she's talking about the tape measure, I keep a tape measure, a toolkit, all that kind of stuff in my little box in my car. I want those people to go, man, this guy's got everything. Got an answer for everything. Not
memorable.
Not just Jeff. Okay, go look at the house.
Right.
It's a waste of time. Go do it with a purpose. You'll feel better about it too.
That is awesome. And like he was just saying too, like for Christine, is there new, like, yeah, like maybe you're thinking, okay, we'll sell the house and just getting going, but whatever it is, like, if you're learning, like for any new agent or anybody who hasn't done it, you're learning so much in these. Like you're learning about the market, you're learning how to talk to people, and you're learning it for free. So you're not paying for leads, you're not wasting these, golden nuggets that you could have maybe done better if you had learned just little bit better of how to build rapport through the right verbiage or just being calm and talking like a person. That stuff, like, I feel pretty smooth talking to people, but when I first got into real estate, man, I got all nervous and weird and stuff, like start fumbling on words, and you'd hear the shake in my voice. But I had to get through it by facing it. And that it's such a great way to learn. You learn the market, you're learning about areas, because as you're doing these open houses, you're printing out comps, you're checking out the neighborhoods, you're learning your way around town. So you look like you know what's going on. There's so much to gain from it. As I totally agree. Like as a new agent, like that's how I got started. And it's free, and you don't need listings to do it. Yeah, love, man. Way to drop the hammer there, Jeff. Thank you. We waited 45 minutes, and you sure made it worth the wait. Lori, are you with us? I see your hand up. First off, we're all here for you and with you, and wishing just all prayers and love for you. And sorry to hear what you're going through over there. And crazy that you showed up to this meeting. But we're here, and wow, you are dedicated to your craft.
I'm heading over. Yeah, I'm heading over to my daughter's house. So over to my daughter's house, I thought I would jump on. So I have something to share. Let me know if I cut out, because I'm hitting a blind spot. But so if you're doing an open house on your own listing that you know the seller, I've even had to go in there and clean off the corners.
We had you till clean off. Sorry, we had you until clean off.
Okay, are you there?
Now we can hear you again.
Okay, so I would go in and actually clean off her counters. Like she had like toasters, things like that, appliances out on the counter. So I went and put those into a cabinet, and then her dining room table it just was kind of just way too, she had the table set already in these, real nice set, but it was just too much. So I kind of tweaked that a little bit for her, and because I need people to look at the house, not at her
Stuff.
her decor that was a little off, right? So I kind of adjusted some things. She came home, she kind of got her feelings hurt a little bit. We talked about it, and I said, you know, I need them to look at the house. I can't have them look at your stuff. So I do tweak when I go in, and then if I don't know the seller and I'm doing it for someone else, if I feel it needs to be tweaked, I'll do it. Then I'll put the stuff back out if I don't know them. But this was my own listing, and I told her each time I do an open house, if someone else does for me, just put this stuff away from me. And so she did it. I sold 3 other homes for her after that, so it was never an issue. She just kind of got over how I kind of had to tweak it, but you know, explaining that you need people to look at the home, not the items, or you know, they need to be able to get through it and flow through the home. So I have done that. I put, you know, clear counters, put stuff away. Definitely.
Great share. Yeah. So this isn't on strictly open houses, but this is actually where me and my sister and mom created a little team into a booming team in 2 years in Austin, Texas. And it was by taking over listings that didn't sell, and they were just horribly marketed. First off, no professional photography, which I think should be legally required for all listings that are over like $200,000. I cannot stand a freaking iPhone photo for list. It's unbelievable that it still happens to me. Or that to me, it's unbelievable that it still happens. But we went a little more extensive than I recommend. We literally, by the end of 2 years, had warehouses full of furniture, and we're staging all of our properties. We were crazy young and gung-ho. We would paint some houses on our own, and I'm not a good painter, it turns out, but it like did some pretty crazy stuff to try to help people out. But we built our niche, and we became that team that sold 35 listings in 1 year that were all expired, withdrawn. We relisted them and got them sold. I think 90% of them were sold over asking and over the price they had previously expired to.
Thank you.
But it was all about simplifying the presentation. The presentation of the home, decluttering, depersonalizing, trying to make it as simple as possible, so you're not, people aren't distracted and focused on like what they don't like. They're focused on just the clean space, and they can really envision living there. So that was a great share, Lori, because yeah, it's and it is something like Jeff said, you kind of have to, like, a lot of times you have to show up early to be ready for that. Because I had quite a few times where like we even would be staging the house the night before and cleaning it and and then if everything looks good, we show up the next day and the kitchen's a disaster, and like, okay, what just happened? So now great, really great shares by everybody. Lori, yeah.
Hey, Patrick. So are you going to do a class on how to get these expired listings that didn't sell?
We can. I mean, we could do a class for sure. I did. Yeah, I cold called the heck out of them, and I created a little plan. Like I essentially took a bunch of our pictures from the old listings that were shit, and then the pictures that when we listed it, which were great, and just did like an Animoto video that just showed before and after, and it showed what it was listed at before, when it expired for 400 days on the market. We listed it higher, multiple offers, 13 days. And I did a series of those that it was like, I thought it was really epic 15 years ago. Now I look at the video, I'm like, God, I can't even believe that was like cool. And like, but people loved it, and that would just get us in the door. Like that was our social proof. That's hard to make unless you've done that. But even if you're just doing like showing your professional photography and the presentation of your greatest videos and maybe some highlights, like put it on the market, sell within this days, this many offers, this much over asking, that we can do stuff on. Or we can also do a mixed class. Yeah, it's not on the list, but it should be, because we can do it on how to find these numbers, how to find out to procure these these leads, because they are leads, and then how to reach out to them. It's actually quite wild how receptive I've found them. I've had some crazy. I got an entire condo community out of one phone call, and I showed up to the listing appointment thinking it was just for one condo, and then realized, like, on the way, my sister called me. It was like, that's a whole community, dude. I was like, oh shit. I was super busy. I had tons of appointments going on, and I got a whole entire condo community out of an expired call, and nobody else had called on it. So like, it's pretty wild how a lot of people, I think some of the old school stuff now, I was even doing it a year and a half ago when I was in Austin, back, like working on the back end. I was doing some cold calling and I was getting quite a lot, like, because people kind of went away from it, especially I think now, after a crazy hot market. Like, nobody was doing it last year because there wasn't really any to call. So I think a lot of people are still going to be in that mode of like, you know, new year, trying to chase these buyers, chase down things. And like, kind of, I bet it's probably a good time to get into it. I don't have time for myself, but I'm happy to do a class on it and kind of show you my approach and do some role playing on it. Because it is very, very great.
Yeah, that's a good idea for like different approaches. Because I listened to 2 iPodcasts from a guy, an EXP agent in Walnut Creek, and he's actually on LinkedIn, so you can like click on when he's live. So I watched 2 live ones, and there's a lot of hangups. There's a lot of where they have caller ID, so they just won't answer. And so for the hour that he's doing the iPod live, so that you can actually see it live, it's, you got to kind of just have a thick skin, because it's a lot of, you know, people hang up, or they just won't answer the phone. And then when he does get somebody, it's, you know, where they, you know, they're kind of rude because everyone else has called them, right? And you know, no, we're not going to sell it, and we decide not to, or, you know, we have, and he's pretty cool. He goes, hey, thanks, man. You know, like, so it's getting, you just have a little thick skin, but it'd be nice to see someone else's approach to it as well.
Yeah, no, I'd be more than happy to. And there's so many different approaches. It's finding like what works for you. I used to call and have my little script and get super nervous. And then, I don't know, the more and more I've called so many, I mean, I be making calls today. And I'll probably get hung up on a couple times, but I'll probably have quite a few calls that are chill and they aren't ready. But I've kind of evolved where I don't really care anymore. Like, they hang up, because at least I found out. It's better than not knowing. It's better than wondering what if. So it's just, okay, cool, knock that off the list. Like, I don't really like think of it. I used to get really nervous and try to procrastinate and avoid, or try to find anything else to do other than call. Like, okay, I can do this tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. But if you, Lori, if I know you have much bigger priorities than anything we need right now, but if and when you have some time, if you want to share him on the Slack or with me too, because I'm consider myself pretty darn good at this stuff, but I still listen to like a lot of podcasts about real estate. I still like surf a bunch of Facebook groups about real estate because I love eating it up. There's always something I can learn out there, something somebody else is doing a little different, and that I can take some from. Also, sometimes that I can learn what not to do. So if you could share that at some point, I'd love to see that, because he's doing it for a reason. So even if he's getting hangups and this and that, especially if he's broadcasting out there, he's having some success too. It just takes, you know, it's not, these aren't as easy as your little flex calls that come in and they want to see a house, but there are people out there to sell, and there's a lot of realtors without thick skin and that aren't willing to make those calls, and that's therein lies the opportunity. And you could still, just because they do that once, especially if it's a fresh withdrawn, they're going to get a lot of calls right away if there's people calling, but you still can follow up later, and they're not going to even remember who you are because there's other people calling. So it's not like, oh, they already told me this, I just call them again, like boom. Or we could do a lot of stuff I wasn't doing then that I'm thinking of now, which is much more in like things have evolved, like sending little videos. Hey, sorry if that was a nuisance. I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls from realtors. Totally understand. If anything changes, if there's anything we can grab a coffee, or if there's any way I can be of value, I'd love to, you know, have the opportunity to meet with you. Something super chill like that. Like, I think you can stand out by being that guy who's not, that's how I found it. Like, I'll end it with this. I got a listing from my first ever day of cold calls. I was in a Bold group in Keller Williams, which is like a massive 50, 70 agents, all doing the same stuff, and they're all about scripts, which I think if you're not strong in real estate and you're not strong socially and you don't have a good idea, you don't feel super comfortable, really good to start with your scripts and at least use that as a foundation. But when they gave us the same list of numbers for all of us to call and the same script, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not calling the same people and saying the same thing. So I just called. I started in the middle because I thought some people would start at the back, some would start in the front. I started kind of in the second third of the list of pages. And then I started making calls, but I didn't use the script. I used a little bit. And then when people give me some resistance, because I'm also not I'm not pushy person. It's just not me. So I'm just like, hey, no worries. All good. Thanks for taking the call. I totally understand, blah, 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 blah. This lady actually called me back. I didn't send anything. I didn't do anything. She called me back the next day, asked for an appointment. I was brand new. My sister went on it with me because she was a killer. She could handle it. We got the listing. My sister asked at the end, hey, what is it that made you, because she told us like, wow, I got like 100 something calls in those 2 days. I don't know what happened there, blah, blah, blah. That was insane. My sister's like, so what made you call my brother back? She was like, he was the only person that sounded like a human. So that I took and I ran with it. And that's where kind of, I talk to people like they're people. Same, I don't really get scared of cops either. Like they're just humans. As long as I'm not doing something wrong and lying and bullshitting, like whatever. Like some people are gonna like me, some won't. So I don't know. I'll finish with that. That wasn't anything open house related. We took a little spin there, but yeah, hopefully you guys found some value in this meeting. Does anybody want to add anything? Have any questions? Leslie, I see you got rid of the Niners gear. That's super disappointing, but I did get a snapshot, so I will be looking at that on Sunday.
Well, I couldn't find any blue, so we went black for mourning the Niners loss on Sunday. So
oh, I think I'm gonna spin that. You were looking for blue, you found black. I see a correlation there.
I'm like, where the hell's that blue and white shirt of mine?
Oh, where it should be, lost. But
yeah,
replaced by red. Cool. Alita, Lori, Jeff, or Leslie, other than Go Niners, do you have anything to add or questions or anything? Christine too.
Alita,
sorry, I'm just looking at you the whole time and for some reason not saying your name. Christine as well.
Go ahead. Alita had posted something in the chat box asking where to get the open house signs. So you can have them custom made with your name and logo if you want, or you can go to your local real estate board and buy them. They're like, I forget, like 35, 40 bucks a piece. I just have like the generic ones that say open house on them. And then I have one really nice one that has my name and my logo and my contact information that I put in front of the house itself. Because oftentimes I'm usually doing my own listing, so it matches the sign that's on the lawn. But sometimes if I'm holding one for someone else, I want the people that I met that day to call me about the house, not the listing agent, because my goal is buyers or business or more listings from other people around. So yeah, very easy. And then if they get confiscated or picked up by the community service officer, it's not as hurtful to your pocketbook. If you get your really nice ones taken and picked up, that hurts a little bit more than the generic ones, but they do have them at the board. And I actually have the ones that have like the little flag that fits in and it waves around in the wind. It kind of catches people's attention.
Much better than balloons. Yeah, and if you're someone who's thinking about like getting real serious about open houses, like taking it on as a weekly deal or really crush it, like feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Gina Marie. We can put together like create a little sign for you, because I don't know, I was all about the signs. We had literally open house signs with arrows on them, with our phone number in the arrow, and then the rider that we could pop on the top that said Saturday 1 to 3 or Sunday 1 to 4, whatever it was. We essentially just had a bunch of open and our logo. And so it was the phone number, logo, and arrow. And then we had riders, just a ton of Sunday and Saturday rider. And it was our branding. We paid like, by the end, it was probably $25, $30 a sign. But also we would get a ton of calls on them. Like, hey, we can't go to the open house, but is there any chance, will it be open Sunday as well? Or you're just getting branding, especially if you're doing stuff in the same area. Sellers start seeing that, other owners. I thought it was just a great way to like brand ourselves, get ourselves out there as a new agent. But we went pretty high level on it. Like as far as the signage, then I'm also showing up sweating and blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of room for improvement as well. So
Oh,
yeah.
also, if you can't afford to go that fancy, you can also buy them on Amazon.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
nice.
good to know.
And you can get smaller ones too. You can just get the little hand guy with an arrow. So it's not like every sign we had was our super branded one. We'd put them on the main streets, and then maybe if there was another turn, and then another. So we'd put a little generic one in between, and then it led to one of our signs, so they know they're on the right track to our plate. So we kind of mixed it up. It wasn't like, you know, putting out 30 signs, and if they get all taken, I'm out like a G or more than that. So yeah, but you can start small and build up. Like when I started, it was really generic, just red open house signs with arrows. And then, you know, as I got more into it, I started doing it, taking it more seriously and investing into it because I was getting results. So yeah, feel free though, if you're jumping into it hardcore and you want more advice or help putting anything like that together, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up. Everybody all
Yeah.
good? Thanks for hanging. We went a little
Any other
overboard.
questions?
Nope.
No, this was great. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And all of you, thank you, Suzanne. And Jeff, wherever you are, thank you guys. You guys rock.
I think he's doing some
I'm in the
mentoring
office.
now.
All right, cool. Well, that was
Thank
awesome.
you,
You guys.
Patrick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Patrick.
You bet. You bet.
Bye.
Thank you all. All right, you guys have a great day. Go crush it. And yeah, see you next time. All right. Bye now.